Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm Nikki Buckley and I run East Midlands HR. We support small businesses in and around Northamptonshire, but also into the East Midlands, hence the name, and wider with virtual HR support. We provide practical HR advice and ongoing people support. So, 1st of July is getting close, and if you haven't looked into what's changing yet, you're definitely not alone. Most business owners I speak to have heard something about it, but aren't exactly sure what it means for them. So here's the short version. The qualifying period for unfair dismissal claims is dropping from 2 years to 6 months on the 1st of January 2027. This means that anyone hired on or before the 1st of July 2026 will gain these rights as soon as the law changes. And that's a big shift. It changes how you hire, how you manage people in those early months, and how much risk you carry every time you bring someone new into your business. So, today's session, I want to walk you through exactly what's changing, why it matters commercially, and what you can realistically do between now and July to make sure you're in a strong position. So, right now, an employee generally needs 2 years' service before they can bring an unfair dismissal claim. From the 1st of January 2027, that drops to 6 months. It means that anyone you employ on or before the 1st of July 2026 could bring a claim as early as January 2027. There will be an initial period of employment, which is essentially a statutory probation period. But here's the thing, that catches people out. It doesn't remove the right to claim. It's about what you process, what process you need to follow, not whether the employee has a right to bring a case. On top of that, the government is extending the time limit for bringing a tribunal claim from 3 months to 6 months. So employees will have longer to decide whether they want to take action. And then you've got the Fair Work Agency. That's been set up to proactively enforce employment rights. This isn't just legislation sitting on a shelf, there's going to be active employment enforcement behind it. So let's talk about why this matters in practice. Up until now, many small businesses have relied on that 2 year window. If someone wasn't working out for you, you still had time to manage them or let the situation resolve itself. And that security buffer's gone. From July, every hiring decision carries real legal exposure within months. If you bring someone in and it doesn't work, excuse me, how you handle it from the very first week will matter. And here's the wider trend. Employment tribunal claims are already rising fast. Single claims were up 54% year on year in the most recent quarterly figures from the Ministry of Justice, and that's before this change even kicks in. So now let's put some numbers to it. The average unfair dismissal award in most recent stats is £13,749. The maximum compensatory cap is now £118,223. But the award itself is only part of the picture. Legal fees soon stack up fast. Management time spent dealing with the claim instead of running the business is very significant. It's very significant. I need to repeat that because it takes a lot of time. You've got the cost of replacing the person and disruption to the rest of the team while the whole thing drags on. So when we help businesses to add up the full cost of a single claim, it's always a lot more than we expected. For a small business, one badly handled dismissal can have serious financial impact. So let's get into what you actually can do. Onboarding is where it starts. So if someone isn't performing and you want to take action, the first question a tribunal will ask is, did they know what was expected of them? If the answer is, well, we sort of talked about it in the first week, and there's nothing written down, you're on a bit of shaky ground already. You need written expectations, a proper induction that covers what the role actually involves, what the key policies are, and how performance will be measured. It doesn't have to be a 40-page handbook, it can be straightforward, but it has to exist. We often see businesses where someone starts on Monday and by Wednesday they're just figuring it out as they go. With a 6-month qualifying period, that approach carries real risk. And this is where I see the biggest gap in most small businesses. Almost every contract has a probation clause, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. But when I ask what actually happens during the probation, the answer is usually, ooh, not very much. So there are no scheduled reviews, no written criteria for passing and failing, and then suddenly the probation is over and nothing was formally confirmed. If you end someone's employment during or at the end of probation and they bring a claim, you'll need to show there was a fair process. That means clear criteria for what success looks like, regular check-ins with notes kept, feedback confirmed at each stage, and a formal outcome in writing. The length of your probation period is less important than what happens inside it. A well-run 4-month probation is far stronger than a vague 6-month one. Performance management can't be something you start thinking about after someone has been with you for a year or two. It has to be baked in from the beginning. That means managers need to feel confident having honest conversations about performance early. If a new starter is struggling, the conversation needs to happen in week 2 or 3, but not at month 4. And it needs a paper trail. A quick email confirming what was discussed and what was agreed is often enough. We would prefer you to use HR software, and we've got stuff that can help you with that so that you can see it is all tracked and recorded properly. We do see this a lot, though. The biggest risk in most businesses isn't bad employees, it's good managers who don't want to be the bad guy. They avoid the hard conversation. Nothing goes in writing, and then when a situation reaches breaking point, there's nothing to fall back on. Manager training on this one is one of the highest value things you can do before July. So here's your to-do list. Start with your contracts. Check whether your probation clauses actually reflects a proper process or whether they're just a line of text with nothing behind them. Check your notice period as well, because that will include, it depends on what your notice period is, could take you over the 6-month time limit. Look at your recruitment process. The cost of a bad hire just went up significantly. Spending more time getting recruitment right up front is one of the smartest things you can do. Train your managers. They don't need a law degree. They need to know how to have honest conversations, put things in writing properly, and know when to escalate. Set up a real probation review process. Decide what the check-in points will be. Decide what success looks like, but make it consistent. And if you're thinking about letting someone go, get advice first. The cost of a phone call before you act is a fraction of the cost of a claim afterwards. If you'd like help with working through any of this, an experienced HR consultant can review your current hiring, probation, and performance process. Identify the gaps that could expose you to the claims and help you to put the right structure in place before July. So thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate you taking time out to listen to this. I'm just going to move the little screen and where my little face is appearing. Deadline is approaching. If you haven't reviewed your process yet, now is the time to do it. If you'd like help with working through any of this in the context of your own business, we offer a free 30-minute discovery call, no obligation. You can bring your questions, talk through where your gaps might be, or just a second opinion on whether your current setup is strong enough. I'll share some booking links as well, but thanks again for joining me, and I hope to speak to some of you soon.